What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Exertion Sports. My name's Cody.
And I'm Myles.
And today we're going to go over the top trending news stories we found in the sports category today.
Let's see what's going on.
Okay, so our first story today, it looks like that in the world of Major League Baseball, the Yankees' first baseman Luke Voit may need surgery.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's going to have some issues with a hernia. This is definitely a big hit to the Yankees. He's especially their first baseman. It's going to be a tough player to actually replace and stuff like that. This is actually his second torso injury this year. He's been a leader amongst the team, regardless of the time off he's spent on injuries. But unfortunately for the Yankees, this is a big hit. And this is definitely, besides the trades that are going on right now, this is definitely something. Since the trade deadline's over, it's a horrible thing to happen in an awful time.
Yeah, we just here at Exertion Sports wish you the best, Luke. Next, we've got in the world of soccer or football, the FIFA here, we've got South Korea. A man in South Korea actually filed a lawsuit against Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, and this was because he set out of a friendly match in South Korea. One of the things about that is what the men said, I think it's collectively two men who are coming together on this lawsuit. They basically said that it caused a lot of mental anguish because basically, I get it to the fact that this was a sold-out crowd,
right? And
they were there to see Ronaldo play, and so they're saying like, "Oh, I get it." At that point, I can't understand. Like, there was a game that I went to where I was looking to see a certain player, but he didn't show up to the game. He kind of set out, but he was there. And even though they didn't get to see him play, I don't think that suing somebody because you felt it was like alarming, causing you mental anguish, that's not a reasonable offense. It's kind of just a silly thing. It looks like a quick get-rich-quick sort of thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's complete, just over the top right there. That's the example of that. I get it, man. Like, you wanted to see the guy play. He's going to have more games, right? Like, if he had to sit out, he had to sit out. You know what I mean? There's no reason to get crazy and get a lawyer over it.
Yeah, especially even though you are in South Korea and he does mainly play in Italy, they are constantly playing around the world. So you may have I know that you may have spent a lot of money on this, expecting him to play, but this is just not the way to do it.
Now on to the world of hockey in the NHL. It looks like Colorado Avalanche have signed Sam Girard to a contract extension.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, they're going to wrap him up here for 7 more years as they sign him to a 7-year deal. He's a young 21-year-old defenseman. Showed a lot of potential in the past as he used to play for the Predators, and now is with the Colorado Avalanche. It's a great young player. He's a great defenseman at that. He's definitely going to help push the Avalanche as they had a pretty decent run in this previous Stanley Cup playoffs. So that's definitely a good player for them to get locked up. In fact, he actually played for 150 consecutive games, which if you see how intense hockey is in general, that's saying something right there to go that long. And he's actually the highest Avalanche player in regards to playing consecutive games like that. But 150 consecutive games is ridiculous because, you're constantly getting hurt or taking breaks for stuff like that. But he was there. He was there and he played.
Yeah, that sport definitely requires a lot of energy, a lot of stamina, a lot of definite toughness because you can get beat up pretty easily out there.
Exactly.
So I definitely give him props for that, and I say he deserves it.
He does. And just the emphasis on the 150, there's 82 games in a year, so you're almost 2 straight years that he's played like that. But this is definitely something that Sam Girard is definitely a player to be looking for in the bright future.
Yeah, I don't think I've worked 2 years straight in my life. Now on to the world of basketball, specifically the NBA. Carmelo Anthony might not have a home.
Yeah, it's very doubtful that he's actually going to be able to get into an NBA team. Just the main issues is most of the big players have been signed. The league has been balanced. We finally have teams. Really thought that he might have ended up with the Knicks because they showed the most interest in him. But my thing with that was he would only be able to get a deal done with the team if he wasn't the main star. Unfortunately, the Knicks missed out on this off season because they don't want Melo to be the star of the team. he would have to be complimented because there was the talk about getting Kyrie and KD coming to the Knicks to play alongside their good pick in the draft. So, which they were hoping for a better lottery pick than they got. Unfortunately, the Knicks have just had a rough offseason. But it's looking very doubtful that Carmelo Anthony is actually going to play in the NBA.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I like Carmelo Anthony. He's one of my favorite players. I love to watch him play ball. But, this happens, and he's getting a bit older now, and maybe a good thing.
Exactly, and that's the thing, too. As he's getting older, you don't want to build around an older player. You kind of want to build with somebody, unless the older player is somebody with the stature of LeBron, or somebody that's, been there, or like a Dwayne Wade, of course he's not playing, but in his later years.
Even Kobe
in his later years. It's just somebody that you want to build around, and Carmelo, unfortunately, has never been that guy you could build around, but he would be a great feature to somebody who's contending for a championship, just to be like a sixth man or something in regards to that.
Agreed. All right, and now on to the world of the NFL. We actually have quite a bit to talk about here in the NFL.
Main point here.
Yeah, looks like that wide receiver Michael Thomas has been signed to a 5-year contract extension with the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, this is a big thing because first off, he's going to be guaranteed $61 million over those 5 years, but $100 million is the contract. This is a record contract with the Saints. This is definitely going to set the tone in regards to the whole NFL and paying your wide receivers. This could cause a lot of issues for teams because once you pay a player such as, we've seen this before, when people have got big contracts such as like Todd Gurley with the Rams, it's caused certain tensions in that position for other teams. And this is another thing that could be an issue where it could be for wide receivers. Now, that could lead to your team.
Yeah, that could lead to the Dallas Cowboys having some issues because if you take a look at Dallas right now in the NFL, and this just perfectly goes into our next point, they're having those problems with Zeke holding out. And we know that Michael Thomas was holding out before that contract. I know that Zeke plays a different position, but you have to look at the entire makeup of the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, their star players, if you ask me, on offense would be the running back, the wide receiver, and Dak, the quarterback. And so Amari Cooper showed last year that he is that team's wide receiver. We don't need Dez Bryant. We have Amari Cooper. But now, is he going to be looking for the big bucks? And if so, we're also on the table to pay Dak, and Zeke's holding out. What do you think about that?
Well, see, the big issue with this that I have is that everybody's contracts for the Cowboys are coming together once. I understand the big issue is they pay, DeMarcus Lawrence is a great player, but that's another example of a player who got paid a lot of money. Now, there's a strict salary cap in the NFL, and since he was paid so much money, now Zeke has a contract coming up in 2 years, which shouldn't be an issue, but he's holding out 2 years out of his contract. He's not even with the team in the camp. By the way, side note in regards to that, this has happened many times because his offensive linemen, who are also going to need to get paid a lot of money because
they're crucial.
Exactly. But when they're out there in the hot sun there in Dallas, Texas, and Arlington, it's very hot, and they see, Zeke's over in Cabo, they may not necessarily want to play hard for him. It's a brotherhood. It's friendship. And if you're not going to put your back and stuff on the line for your teammates, then I don't think that they're going to even care about Zeke at that point. It's kind of like the James Conner situation and Le'Veon. Is because the linemen were telling Le'Veon, if you come back, we're not going to block for you. But they really supported and appreciated James Conner. That's kind of like if you ever seen a quarterback who will buy stuff for their linemen and stuff like that to show their appreciation for them and stuff. That's kind of the same thing here. If Zeke comes back, there's no guarantee that his team is actually going to support him in regards to the offensive lineman.
Absolutely, and Zeke's a key player in the Cowboys, whether you want to say he is or not.
Yeah.
We've seen, whenever Zeke has had multiple controversies and been out of games, Dak just doesn't perform the same way he does when Zeke's behind him. He gets that reassurance there. And let's talk about Dak for a minute because, Dak is basically playing right now for, comparatively speaking, nothing. and he's up to get a extension. He's up to get more money. He's obviously going to get more money. Jerry Jones seems to really like Dak. You and I both agree that he's not the best quarterback Dallas has ever had by far. He's not the best quarterback in the league. He's not even close to the caliber of, say, Tom Brady or Ben Roethlisberger, or I would even say Russell Wilson. He's not there, but he is a mobile quarterback. He is a leader. He is respectful, and he keeps it real and professional in the locker room.
He's mature. That's the big thing. And even there are quarterbacks that aren't mature. One example would be someone like a Baker Mayfield. He's not very mature. He's got to set that in. Dak came in very mature. That was one of the things I did like about Dak, regardless of his affiliation with the Cowboys. He's very mature. The issue, though, and I don't think it's going to be an issue with Dak as much. That's why I think Dak will probably end up staying there. I don't think that he's a quarterback that's going to lead. I don't think himself can lead the Cowboys to a Super Bowl win. I don't think Dak can do that. We'll have to see how in the following years of the assets. But the big issue is if you paid DeMarcus a big contract, a record contract, and then you have Zeke who's wanting max money, you have Amari with this issue, with what just happened with Michael Thomas. Amari's going to be like, oh, why can't I get money like that?
And he can't go anywhere. And you and I can both agree on that. Amari can't go anywhere.
Yeah, and Randall Cobb's not going to carry your team. And so, and then you have all those offensive linemen who are going to want that money. This is just a horrible situation to be a Cowboys fan because somebody's not going to get paid. Unfortunately, there is a salary cap, so not everybody's going to get paid. So it's going to be very tough. Either they're going to have to sit down and listen, be like, listen, guys. But unfortunately, with the way that it's acted right now, Zeke doesn't look like a team player. So it looks like that Zeke is probably going to have to go. You might set out the season like Le'Veon did last year. You've seen how well it worked out for Le'Veon. So I could see either a trade happen there or something like that. But unfortunately, if you're a Cowboys fan, you should really see that there's a lot of issues coming up. And this is one of the things I've been thinking about and talking about for a while, is that it's going to be even the NFL Network said that Zeke may not even play in the preseason because there's a lot of questions. I mean, he's in Cabo right now, and who knows what he's going to be ready if a running back plays well for the Cowboys. And Jerry Jones is not happy with Zeke right now.
No, not at all. Jerry Jones is definitely not happy with this situation. He's went, on record saying that you don't need an all-star running back in order to win a championship. Now, in the case of Dak, I think that that's a little bit different. But if we can get another running back in there, that's pretty good. I think that we can equal that out. I definitely want to see Zeke come back. As a Dallas Cowboys fan, let me just say that I love having Zeke as a running back.
Yeah.
And I really hope that they can get this worked out in a professional manner. My thing is, Jerry, if you're listening, just bring Zeke in a room, give him a contract, tell him these are the requirements. You can't get out here in the media anymore acting like a fool. I need you to stop being, that guy that always brings the bad eye to the Dallas Cowboys. And if he does do that and break that contract, he loses money from that contract. And that's how I feel about it.
I think that, and Jerry, if you're listening, which I think what you should do is just go ahead and trade Zeke away, trying to get a mediocre running back and a good draft pick, and see what you can do, build to the future. Also, if you do that, you trade him away, and even if your running game's not as good, then if you have a mediocre year, you may not have to. Dak may not have this we did good this year to hold over your head, so you can pay Dak less. That's unfortunate about the Cowboys is that they're like an 8-8 team minimum, and then they had the 14-2 a couple years ago, but usually they finish mediocrely, so they're not bad, but they're not really good. So they're kind of like, we'll make the playoffs, but we're not going to do anything. That's kind of like where it's at, and it's enough to where. But I don't know. Jerry Jones talking about paying $30-some million a year to Dak. So it's
just don't know about that.
There's no way that everybody's going to get paid. We'll see how this goes, but I think it's just a lot.
Yeah, I do too. Well, guys, I want to thank you for sticking through to the end of the video. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and as always, let us know in the comments below what you want to see on the channel.
Yeah, make sure to tell us all your thoughts on every topic that we talked about today, as well as your opinions, and we'll try to get back to you on those.
Yeah, links in the description.